Disclaimer: this video is not hate or criticism towards vivziepop, Hazbin Hotel, or Charlie's current design. This is just a drawing exercise for me to practice a drawing style, improve my own skills, and experiment with designs. I do not endorse sending hate to vivziepop or the cast and crew of Hazbin Hotel. This is Callimara here, and no, it's not calamari. Welcome back to my channel, or if you want to join the pond, take a dive and hit subscribe. So, Hazbin Hotel is finally out. I know I'm kind of late to the party at this point, but listen, I know that I could watch Hazbin Hotel for free on sites that are not Amazon Prime, and I would actually encourage you to do this because Jeff Bezos sucks. The real reason I have yet to watch the show is because I have no self-control when it comes to starting a new piece of media, and I will be unable to do anything else because I'm so transfixed on this one thing, and that kind of scares me. That's also the reason why I still haven't watched Fiona and Cake yet, or finished Tears of the Kingdom, or started Skyward Sword. And now I really want to try playing Splatoon too. So many distractions. So, no spoilers please. But hey, I'm starting an internship soon, so things are gonna get busy for me regardless. But wish me luck. Anyway, let's dive right into the drawing. At the moment, I'm just drawing Charlie until I can think of ways that I'd be able to change her design. As I've said in the very beginning of this video, this is not a critique on vivziepop or Hazbin Hotel, because as much as I've been avoiding spoilers, I have seen some very heated debates go down on Twitter, and no, I will never call it X, particularly around some of the characters' designs and symbolism, but Charlie wasn't one of them. The reason I'm choosing to draw Charlie in this video is because I really like Charlie and just wanted an excuse to draw her. But let me know if you'd want to see my take on other characters like Alistair or Emily as well. Given Vivzie's fondness for animal themes in her character designs, there's been plenty of people on Twitter redesigning Charlie to look more goat or sheep-like, supposedly because goats are satanic symbols and lambs, as in sacrificial lamb, cult of the lamb. I initially also wanted to do my own take on Goat Charlie because she looks adorable, but as I have been told by people with better understandings of demonology, goats are more representative of Satan, and Satan is supposed to be a separate character from Lucifer in the Hazbin Hotel / Hell of a Boss universe. Plus, I don't know if I can top all the other top-notch Goat Charlie designs already out there. So I figure, why not try a completely new direction and do an animal I haven't seen anyone do before? I looked up what animals were closely associated with Lucifer, and there were actually quite a few, including cats, crows, or they could be ravens, I'm not sure, so correct me if I'm wrong, snakes, and swans. And I immediately latched on to the idea of a snake design for Charlie, because in all the Abrahamic religions, Lucifer was said to have transformed himself into a snake to trick Adam and Eve into eating the forbidden fruit. So that was the first thing that came to mind for me. I don't know if that's still the case in Vivzie's story, but hey, I haven't seen it yet. I think this concept can be easily incorporated into Charlie's current design without changing too much though, while having a much more distinct demon form. Charlie already has a thin, slender body shape that would translate into a snake's long, thin body easily, and her eyelashes and eye shape already remind me a lot of Viper from Kung Fu Panda and Maddie from Back to the Outback, so I kept them as is. All that I really changed in her regular form was her mouth shape, which I fashioned to be more like the snoot of a ball python and gave her more pronounced fangs. I chose a ball python for the inspiration of this design specifically because they already have a kind of puppy-like face that's very cute, and I thought it would suit Charlie very well. Another thing I added were pit organs or heat pits that go across the snout, allowing snakes to sense heat. And on this design, they kind of looked like freckles, which I thought were adorable. And of course, I also wanted to give Charlie a forked tongue, which you'll see better in her full demon design. Another change I decided to make was her hair, which I switched for a slender, flowing, low ponytail that is reminiscent of a snake's tail, and changed the tail of her coat to match the same design. And that was pretty much it for her regular form. The real modifications I made were on her demon form, because that's when those animal motifs really come to play. Despite liking Charlie's regular form, I found that her demon form was actually quite lackluster. I've always imagined Charlie having an absolutely terrifying demon form that she tries to hide and maybe overcompensate for with her regular form. Like, I imagined her losing control at some point and absolutely wreaking havoc with her true form that everyone is afraid of. And I think an advantage to having Charlie be part snake is that she would also be able to completely unhinge her jaw, which would add an additional layer of eldritch horror to her character that would accomplish just that. And I think this is sound advice for character design principles in general. The best way to come up with ideas and find themes and concepts to visualize your ideas is just by looking at nature, because most of the time, nature is stranger than fiction. I definitely wouldn't have been able to come up with something quite so uncanny and terrifying if I hadn't looked up references. While I kept her horns, I decided I would replace her legs and devil tail with a long snake tail like Serpentius's, because I think it makes her look more demonic and intimidating. This is also in part inspired by a spirit from my culture, which is Indonesian mythology, called Blorong, who are powerful, high-ranking spirits that appear as beautiful women with snake tails in place of legs that serve as knights and protectors of the Queen of the Southern Java Sea, Kanjeng Ratu Kidul or Nyi Roro Kidul, which I think suits Charlie's lore pretty well. So, for some context, Charlie is the princess of hell and the daughter of Lucifer and Lilith, the king and queen of hell. Given the fact that both her parents were once inhabitants of heaven, at least in biblical mythology, I don't know how it really goes in the show, she looks quite different from all the other denizens of hell. Looking at her makes me think of vanilla ice cream, and I like vanilla ice cream. That's my go-to flavor. Unlike my Beelzebub redesign, I don't have any issues with Charlie's original design. In fact, I personally prefer her new design as opposed to her pilot design. I think the new hairstyle makes her look more work-ready and is probably more practical to animate too. Not that impractical designs have ever stopped Vivzie before, let's be honest. The only thing about Charlie that I don't quite understand is her little black nose. Neither Lilith or Lucifer have a nose like that, and to me, it kind of gave Charlie a more animal-like quality, because this is the same kind of nose that she used for one of her characters, Bad Luck Jack, if you guys have been following Vivzie for that long. And don't get me wrong, I love her little button nose. I just can't seem to figure out what the intention behind it was. If it's supposed to allude to her being a goat, a sheep, a canine, or something else. Because she doesn't have that nose when she goes demon mode, so maybe it's just what Vivzie wanted to do, which is also valid. However, I do notice that most of Hell's inhabitants usually have a particular theme to them, be it regular imps or animals. Occasionally both at the same time, which is very in line with Vivzie's previous works. And in a way, I kind of admire Vivzie for being so unapologetic with her style and preferences, and not being deterred by what other people say or think, even if I don't always agree with her creative decisions. And honestly, getting into the shapes and proportions of her art style is super freeing. I think I mentioned this before in my I Drew Myself as a Hell of a Boss character video, where I discussed Vivzie's art style more deeply. But it's moments like these where I wish I still had a simpler art style. Because there was a phase in my artistic journey where my art was completely different, and I remember having much more fun drawing and being able to draw more as a result. Maybe I'll do an old sketchbook tour one day. So another thing I also wanted to do was actually give Charlie black crow or raven wings as further homage to her connection to Lucifer. I also think it'll make her look more demonic and intimidating while greatly improving her mobility. But for the longest time, I actually refrained from doing that because I was worried it might make the design too busy, and I'd actually decided the drawing was finished at this point and put it up on my Twitter and Instagram. Hey, go follow me there, by the way. But after looking at it again the next day, I felt like I could do more and was really curious to see how she would look with 3 pairs of wings like her father. So that was what I ended up doing. And I know I'm probably going to get comments saying, "Oh, this would be so impractical and impossible to animate." But I just want to reiterate that none of what I'm designing for her is outside of the scope of what is already being done in Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss. But also, I'm doing this purely for fun and experimentation. Usually when I'm working on these kinds of videos, I like to have something on in the background, and what I've been watching lately is a documentary series called Shaped by the Algorithm by Mr. Snowflake about Amberlynn Reid, a weight loss / vlogging channel with a very long and sordid history on YouTube. I highly recommend you guys check it out if you need a long video to play in the background that is also a series. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my final design for Charlie. Let me know what you think of my take in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out in my channel for a while. I hope your skin didn't get too pruny. Big shout out to my lovely pond dwellers on Patreon. If you want to become a pond dweller and get early access to my content, join my Patreon. If you want to see more from me, then please follow me on all my social media. If you want to submit fan art or chat with me, join my Discord server. And if you want more of my stories, check out my Wild Word series here on YouTube because that will make me really happy. All the links are in my description, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!